Have you ever looked at a massive company and just wondered, what's the real difference between the entrepreneurs who build empires and everyone else who just, builds a business? Well, today we're going to crack open the playbook of one of the sharpest minds out there, Alex Hormozi. We're going to distill years of his tough, no-nonsense advice into one single guide.
So Hormozi's whole philosophy, it really kicks off with this one simple truth that most people try to run away from. The times you are growing the fastest are almost always the most miserable. Learning to embrace that pain, to see it as just the cost of entry for getting ahead, that is the first step. It's totally non-negotiable.
So what really is the secret sauce here? It's not some crazy new product or a genius idea nobody's ever had. According to Hormozi, it's a playbook, and it starts with winning the war inside your own head long before you ever try to win in the marketplace. Let's dive right in.
All right, Chapter 1. And it's not about business plans or spreadsheets. Nope, it's all about your mindset. Because, as Hormozi argues, your own psychology, that's what sets the ceiling for your potential. It's way more important than any business plan you could ever write.
This right here, this says it all, doesn't it? The entire difference between winning and losing comes down to how you frame hardship. Most people think, oh, poor me, but champions, they see that same difficulty and they think, this is awesome. This is the barrier that keeps everyone else out. They're thinking, poor everyone else who has to try and catch me. It's a total flip of the script.
And that brings us to this really cool concept he talks about called the extinction curve. It sounds technical, but it's actually super simple. Your success is basically determined by how many times you are willing to do something and get nothing back before you quit. How many times can you get a no? How many times can you fail before you just give up? The longer your curve, the better your chances.
And it all comes down to perspective. There's this great moment in the movie Troy that just perfectly captures this. A young kid sees this giant warrior and says, he's huge, I wouldn't want to fight him. And Achilles just looks at him and says, that's why no one will remember your name. See, winning entrepreneurs learn to reframe those massive, scary challenges. They're not threats, they're the very things that are going to make you legendary.
Okay, so you've got your head in the right place. Now it's time to actually get out there and face the world. Let's talk about the external game, getting customers. Because you need a reliable way to get people to give you their attention and, even more important, their money.
Now, one of Hormozi's killer moves for getting customers is what he calls the unbeatable guarantee. And listen, this isn't some wishy-washy satisfaction guaranteed stuff. No, this is a formula. It's specific, it's high stakes, and it completely removes all the risk for the customer. You're basically saying, we're so sure this will work, we'll pay you if it doesn't. I mean, how can you say no to that?
And to back up a guarantee like that, you need what he calls brutally honest marketing. It's all about just cutting through the BS. Be super clear about who you help, and even clearer about who you don't help. Admit your flaws. Seriously, our parking is terrible, but our tacos will change your life. That kind of honesty builds trust instantly, and it attracts the right people.
Okay, so your mind's right. Customers are starting to roll in. Congrats, you've just unlocked a brand new problem: how to handle the growth. The next phase is all about building a machine, a system that can grow without completely falling apart. This is where you have to stop just hustling and start building smart systems.
And the absolute most important question you have to ask yourself right now is this: what's holding you back? Is it supply or is it demand? Seriously, your answer to this question decides everything you do next. If you get this wrong, you're going to waste a ton of time and money on the completely wrong things.
This simple little test tells you exactly what to focus on. Look, if you could easily handle more customers tomorrow, you've got a demand problem. Stop trying to perfect your product and go sell. But if you're turning people away or constantly sold out, you've got a supply problem. The last thing you should do is more marketing. That'll just make people angry. You've got to solve the right problem.
So once you figure out what your main problem is and you fix it, your focus shifts to the real engine of growth, return on invested capital, or ROIC. It's so simple. For every single dollar you put into your business, how many dollars do you get back? Your job is to find the one thing that has the highest return and just pour all your money and energy back into that. That's how you get that explosive, compounding growth.
But a machine isn't just about spreadsheets and systems. It's about people. And to build a great team, Hormozi says you just need to listen for 3 simple words. I got it. When someone on your team can say that and really mean it, that signifies complete ownership. The more people you have who can say I got it, the faster and stronger your whole machine will run.
And that brings us to the final and maybe the most crucial chapter in this whole playbook: playing the long game. Because let's be real, building something truly amazing isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. It's about having the grit to keep going long after everyone else has gotten tired and gone home.
I mean, just think about it for a second. We live in a world that is obsessed with overnight success and quick hacks. So in that kind of world, just the simple willingness to stick to one thing for years, that becomes a massive, almost unfair competitive advantage. That's the real edge he's talking about.
You know, every entrepreneur feels that huge rush of excitement when they first start. That's the easy part. But that's not where success is made. Real success is found in the grind. It's found in the boring, relentless repetition that you do day in and day out, long after that initial exciting feeling has completely disappeared. So, how do you possibly get through that grind? Well, it all comes down to your purpose. It's like the old story of the 3 stonecutters. You ask the first one what he's doing, he says, "I'm cutting a stone." You ask the second, "I'm earning a living." But you ask the third, and he looks up with a spark in his eye and says, "I'm building a cathedral." They're all doing the same exact job, but only one of them is fueled by a big vision. You get to choose your why.
And that really brings us to the final and maybe the most challenging idea in this whole playbook. That big opportunity, the game-changing move, it's never going to feel safe when you're looking at it. It's only obvious in hindsight. Right now, today, it just looks like a huge risk. This whole playbook is about building the muscle to take that calculated risk again and again, because that is the only way to get a reward that nobody else can get. So the real question is, are you willing to take that risk?